It's that time of the year again, guys. I gotta do the lube and filters change on Alice. It's a 2001 Dt466e engine, and I'm gonna take you through it step by step. Check it out. First up is the coolant filter. It's right down here on its side. Next is the fuel water separator. I always write my current mileage and the date of doing the filter swap on the filters that I'm putting in. I also fill the filters with their respective fluids. So I will take the fuel from this one, put it in this one, top it off if necessary, and then put it back on there. I'll do the same with the oil and the fuel filter on the other side. You can also see I have little green magnets on everything. I put them onto my filters. An old timer told me that was a good idea, so I've just kind of done it ever since. I'll spin that off. I'll transfer the fuel. Alright, I've topped it off with fuel. Filling your filters full of the respective fluids helps prevent any airlocks in any of the systems. Now we'll head around the other side of the vehicle and do the other fuel filter. Alright. The other filter is right here. I'll remove my magnet, remove the filter, and replace it once I've filled it up, topped it off with the fuel. Again, filling the fuel filters with fuel is very important. You don't want to have air in the system preventing you from getting started again. And the same thing can happen with your coolant, not allowing your engine to cool properly because of an airlock preventing flow of the fluids. Alright, and before we walk away, we'll pull our dipstick for doing the oil and filter. For this part of the trick, I'll be draining 7.5 gallons of oil. Underneath you'll find the oil pan in front of the transmission oil pan. So be sure you're draining the engine oil pan in the front with the big drain plug bolt, and I'll have to replace that and switch vessels when I get close to the 5-gallon mark. I'm not going to show you the specifics on actually draining the oil. Just trust me, you pull the oil plug out, drain the oil until it stops, and then put the plug back in. That's all there is to it. It's just really tight, and I don't want to get it all over my phone, so I'm going to just do that and replace the oil plug, and we'll come right back. There we go. The pan's basically done draining. Replace the plug. Be sure to tighten it up with a wrench. My clip of that got ruined, so I don't have it, but tighten it right up. I'll pull one bucket out and set it aside. The other bucket I moved to the filter for draining that. The oil filter, however, is on the other side of the bus. It's just inside the frame rail, right behind this fuel water separator. It can be seen right back in here. I've got the oil ready to be caught in the 5-gallon bucket. Be sure to fill up the oil filter with fresh oil. Always use some of that oil to wet your gasket, and make sure you have a nice lubricated gasket with the fresh oil to make a good seal. And note the facing of the gasket. Make sure that it is facing the right way. I had one come from the factory with the gasket in the wrong way, and it caused a serious leak. I was not sure what happened. Now that we've got our oil filter on there, time to fill it up with oil. This engine takes about 7.5 gallons for a change. I'll usually add about 6.5 to 7 gallons of oil. Then I'll check it and add it as needed. It's a lot easier to add it than it is to take it back out. On this engine, the dipstick is also the fill. Well, that makes 6.5 gallons. So I'm going to replace my dipstick and go fire it up. Let it run for about 30 seconds, and then I'll shut it down and check the fluid level. We just ran it, and it looks like our oil level's just getting on the stick. So we're going to add another gallon and see where that gets us. There we are. We'll let that settle, check it again, and top it off as needed. And now that that's all good, we're gonna move on to the air filter. This air filter is big and expensive, but it's not to be skipped. If it's dirty, then your air compressor will start drawing air right from your engine. Out with the old, in with the new. Well, that wraps up the air filter. But remember that all your used oil can go right back where you bought it from. So I'm gonna bottle all that up and take it back to where it came from. So, we'll see you guys down the road.